I'm Chad Jackson, the CEO and Chief Analyst at Lifecycle Insights. Our research is showing us that the biggest challenges with engineering transformation isn't technology-focused. It's actually people-centered and resistance-oriented. We believe that today's change agents need more than just a project plan. They need research, classes, organizational assessments, and role-based insights. We're starting an early access program called the Founders Council, where we collaborate with partners to upskill and enable change agents. If that seems like a fit, book a meeting with me at lifecycleinsights.com. And now, on to the show. Vijay, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Chad. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this conversation. This is going to be diving into the automotive side of things. But before we do that, it's always good to kind of get a perspective on, I don't know, how you got to this point in your career, what led you down this path of your journey. That's always really good context for the rest of the conversation. So I'd love to hear about that from you.
Yeah, sure. So I started my career from, I would say, like my interest to my career is started at the early age, right? So when I was doing my school years, I so much fond of the motor power three-wheeler, right? The auto rickshaw in my country. I grew up in India as much. I did all my schoolings and my college degree in India. Then I worked a couple of years there. Then I moved to US. So all my childhood memories are fascinated about the engineering in the automotive space. On top of to that, my grandfather was an engineer, worked in Indian Army, and he has a little garage with all the tools. So I really fond of using those tools, learning more about those tools. So that put me to a stream where I can have show more interest to pursue my engineering and mechanical side of the stream. And during my undergrad year, I started venturing into a prototype product of making a three-wheeler from an ICE engine to a hybrid auto, like putting a magnet or motor to it and connecting with the solar. And this project really went well during the time, because I was so popular that a lot of media channels and articles was talking about our project, and we got funded from our college, and I displayed those projects in various trade events, and the exhibition received a lot of awards. That really motivates me, to study something more into automotive. So that's where I decided to do a postgraduate in automobile engineering. So I studied in a prestigious university in India. During my time, I did my internship in Altair. They are a CAE tool service company. So that's where I got introduced to the simulation world, the digital twin world of modeling components and validating that before it getting into a vehicle or a company. So that's where my career started in, right from a child all the way to my landing my first job in engineering side.
Wow, that's great. You're in the automotive industry. You worked for GM, and you've worked for Stellantis. Was that kind of always the end game that you wanted to get at, or you worked for Altair for a little while, a software provider. Did you have an end state in mind, or was it, life just kind of led you to where you are today?
No, I didn't have any end state, but I was in the right time when there is a innovation was happening in the automotive space. Right then, early 2000, when there is an ICE engine and hybrid, and there is new toners coming in, and the automobile market was going in an upswing term, and a lot of investment in innovation was happening. So I was very fortunate enough to work in various company where they were starting their projects, like either it could be R&D center. For example, during my Altair time, within 3 months, I was put on-site to a Caterpillar, one of the early member in their R&D team, bringing their design center back to India to support their US clients and US products. So I was part of the team doing more proto-build pilot level projects, directly supporting their Urbana Champaign office in US working on the project. And also, I got an opportunity to work on greenfield project from Modine Thermal Systems. So
Ah,
they were looking into building a brand new greenfield project. They're building manufacturing facilities, and they're setting up their R&D center in India at that time. So I was early part of their team. Had opportunity to work on building how they build their industry manufacturing facilities, bringing their big machines to produce their component,
yeah.
and also sitting on their R&D center, working on simulation, fine tuning those components, which caters to their suppliers like Ashok Leyland, Rivian, all the big truck companies. They were
Mm-hmm.
doing that.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. And naturally, it brought me here to work in Stellantis on various products, right,
Mm-hmm.
and services, similar to your Jeep, truck, family vehicles, then hybrid vehicles, then EVs. So this market is changing, and that actually keep motivating me to work more onto it. And recently, I graduated my MBA as well from Indian University.
Mm-hmm.
That puts me in another perspective, like, okay, now we are building the product. How this product is serving to our end customer, the client?
Yeah.
Are they happy? And what they're really looking into it, right? Because there are change management. It has its various uh, terms fused to one word. Is it an incremental change or it is a disruption change?
Yeah.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
all depends upon the clients and the industry what they're actually looking at for.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great color commentary. Appreciate that. That's a really good segue to talk about change agents and change initiatives. So let's talk a little bit about change agents. How would you, in your words, how would you describe a change agent?
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting question. So, on my word and my experience, change is inevitable, and this change is going to happen on various levels. The customer is changing, the market is changing, and the organization is changing, and there is people and cultural behavior, and the technological and the innovation behavior,
Mm,
and the market and the climate economic situation behavior. So these are the major factors which is affecting the change.
yeah.
So
Okay. All right. Interesting. And okay, so you touched on a few different aspects of that.
yeah.
Do you think of yourself as a change agent?
Yeah, definitely. So I call it myself as a proud change agent because I've seen companies transforming the way they model the products and deliver the values to our customer has been changed, and the cycles being reduced. New product was introduced into the market, and a lot of product we worked or shelved. So that's part of the change agent as well,
Yeah.
and motivates and build the cultural. So I worked in different part of the world, different organization, and for various clients and various projects. So have a lot of changes not inevitable. I would say it's need to be worked on as well.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Makes a ton of sense. What um uh what do you think are the key characteristics of a successful change agent? What types of skills, what types of experience? Um, how would you describe that?
Yeah. So this key characteristic is so understanding your own strength within your organization, right? So
Mhm.
what you are really good at, and what is your long term and your short term visions are. So the long term vision really helps you to align everybody into on board to your mission and vision, and the short term ones will motivates you and keeps you drive the momentum, right?
Mm,
Those are the um, low hanging fruit where you can take it. And and always you have to type with your whatever the project you're doing, whether it's delivering value to your end customer, revalidate them, get the feedback from the market
yeah.
or the stakeholders, and reiterate on them. So
Hmm.
those are the things I would say. It's a
Okay.
good trail for the change agent.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Can you talk a little bit about, I mean, you mentioned engaging stakeholders. Um, what kind of, I'm always interested to hear, like, what kind of people skills do you think a change agent needs to kind of engage those stakeholders and get them, a lot of times they exhibit a lot of resistance to change. People often do not like change. Um, what types of skills do you need on that side to assist kind of overcoming those barriers or challenges?
Yeah. So the one thing is just winning people without authority, right? So you have to motivate them, so make them onto your side, right? So
Hmm.
the innovation need to come from the ground up. These are the people who really work on the product and services, right? They bring in the innovation. The only way they bring innovation to the product is if they put 100% to it, and the way they put 100% to it is they own it. So that's how you have to cultivate and motivate the team to bring the change from this. Often, then you have to the organization need to be really lean in order to listen the
Hmm.
signal from the noise, so that they can just pass the information to the team in a single line conversation. Like our mission need to be really cleared from top to the bottom.
Gotcha.
That really helps the team to motivate.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. Um, in your experience, and it sounds like you've been involved with lots of initiatives, change initiatives, um, what role do executives play in it? How visible do they need to be? And also, how much of a top-down kind of mandate do they need to drive those change initiatives? What do you think about that on that front?
Yeah. So from the top executive, so once they understand the clear strength of the organization and the team,
Mm.
and they once they have the clear vision, what they're going to bring, add value to the businesses, and these things can be easily passed on to their the peer team within under them, and they can help leverage the engineer or the team to go and get new knowledge of they need, or go to build more relationship, either could be internal or external. They can advocate you, they can put you in a place where you can go and present your new innovation idea or bring new changes to the processes.
Mhm.
And I've seen leaders in my past companies, they organize a forum where that will be lead by the team itself, and there will be a sponsor from the executive team, and this team will, it's a cross-functional team. They sit together and they review the process. It could be
Hmm.
a testing procedure, simulation procedure, or the way they build the product. They try to tune it and come up with a new way of methods development, right? It's not just the silo team where they develop the method, then they try to pass it to the production work.
Hmm.
This leader, what they did, he built a cross-functional team as part of everybody's to a common vision of improving the processes or methods. I really liked his leadership of bringing innovation from the ground up, not just by the silo group.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. Excellent. Well, in general, what else in terms of a change initiative and change agents? What do you think are other factors that are really crucial to success?
Oh yes. And yeah, so short term, right? So what is your short term goal,
Hmm.
and how these short terms are connecting to a long term vision? That's number one that the executive need to and the team need to really iron on. And then number two is support you in terms of bringing the tools, right? Because often then the large or big organization, they just constrained with the tools and the tool set they have. But if there is a new way of methods or models available, then they can leverage the external factor, right? Like helping them to access to those resources. That's number two.
Hmm.
And number three is really encouraging a cultural change within the team, right? Just not just putting people to work on a single task for long term in the career, rather than just rotating them to a different role and getting exposure to a different skill set really helps them to motivate and be in their company in a long term version of helping and doing those changes, and also documenting them, right? So what went good, what went bad, like retrofacting and going back and reviewing those results will definitely help you to understand your strength and weakness within any team.
Yeah, no, that's great. That post-mortem
Yep.
component is often overlooked, but there's so much learnings that you can get from it and leverage into
Yeah.
future change initiatives. So that's a great idea. Absolutely. Um, Let's talk a little bit more about simulation. I'd love to hear from your perspective, and obviously this, you can use simulation during the design cycle to drive decisions. You can use it for verification and validation. You can use it as part of prototyping and test. I'd love to hear a little bit about, obviously, the companies you worked for recently, they've had long and well-established practices and methodologies around verification and validation. But what do you see changing? What's the bleeding edge of innovation on this front, especially in terms of incorporating simulation into those activities?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So, before I tell you about what has changed, I want to tell you about what was before so that you
Mm,
get the idea, right? What was before.
that's a
So,
great idea. Yeah.
very early in your 2000s, so the design was treated as a offshore work. It's additional work. So they know what they want to do because people are very very experienced, and the companies were doing innovation in incremental fashion. What I mean, they
Mm,
have the product, they do the changes, they know the market, they do 10% or 20% changes in terms of innovation and changes in the design and aspect like that.
mm,
So they know what the proof of, because they build the Pro Tools in parallel. Doing the simulation was just an A to B cases to test it. So what happened? So they sent this project in a separate company, like a tier one, tier two company, to model them, or they sent this to offshore team to help them to model them. That was happened early 2000, and slowly this simulation tools also matured enough of, you know predicting the right behavior.
yeah.
And this tool, as this market is evolving and the people are getting more and more skills onto the tool, previously the company has to hire a new intern and put them on training, and they need to teach and taught everything. It's not readily available in the market, or
Yeah.
they have to come from the tier supplier. But not anymore now. The people, the company, the engineers are graduating right from the college. They have a specific skill set, because we are looking out for the specific skill set, what value you can bring it to the team. And they are very good in that, because there's a lot of open source tools available. The informations are
Yeah.
plenty. You don't have to go to a college to get skills or developer skills. You can do it from your comfort of your home. There's a lot of tools available, right? The way you can do it. And actually that bringing in the values right then. And now we can see, now we have seen more and more simulations are happening, and a final vehicle validation or vehicle product hardware validation happens at the end. That saves a lot of money upfront, and also doing change early in your stage, it's much easier
Mm,
than do it in much later, where it's a costly and you have more constraints. And the recent change, what is happening because of this AI and more data, these tools are integrated really well within the CAD ecosystem. So, for example, if you're building a product, you're designing a product, now with the comfort of a designer's screen or the software itself, with a click of button, you can analyze and optimize your design right then. You don't have to ship your product to a different company. They take a weeks to analyze and come up with a presentation. Then you sit in a meeting and decide, okay, this design is not good. Let's do another design.
yeah.
So that lead time has changed now. Push up a button, then the designer can decide, oh, yeah, so this is where it is happening. Then I can just go and redesign them.
Mm,
Nowadays, the tool is so much optimized that you don't even push a button. This tool can tell you that, okay, this is the area where you need mass or you have to increase your strength, and
mm-hmm.
these are the areas where you can avoid. So
Wow.
those are the things that happen on
Yeah.
broader level.
Yeah. That's great. Obviously, there's a big change in terms of what happens when, performing more simulation up front, and doing that verification validation with a physical prototype later. That's a big process change. And it actually, in some cases, it takes more time to perform those simulations up front. Can you talk a little bit about how do you go and talk with an executive that says, hey, we want to be able to spend more time doing simulations up front, You're going to get the benefit on the back end because we're not going to go through as many prototypes. Yet you're asking for more time up front. How do those conversations go? How open have executives been to that? Um, I would love to get your perspective on that as well.
Yeah. So it was challenging before, but now with all the information available, the executives and the leaderships are teams are very much aware that the only way you can reduce your cost is to reduce your lead time of development cycle and the money you put on the capex investment, right, on the
Yeah.
product design and development side. So, and the only way this can be happen by fast accelerating in the digital twin technology. This digital twin is not the new word now. It's just been in the industry for more than two to 3 decades, right? So
Yeah.
now all the leaders very much aware that we have a tool. It can capable of doing all this details modeling. You need whether you need a quick uh, on the envelope calculation, you have a tool for it. Or if you want to do like a 1D level of modeling, you have a tool for it.
Yeah.
Or if you want to do a detailed 3D with the transient simulation, you have a tool for it. So I think the leaders are pretty much aware now compared to earlier, and they are pushing these changes from the top to bottom. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
And also I've seen engineers right from the graduate from the college, they are really specializing in one particular thing. Okay, in my college I optimized this, so they're bringing the value. So they're actively involving in a meeting that okay, we can automate this process, we can eliminate this number of steps,
Yeah.
or we can optimize this. So they're bringing ideas, so it's happening like 80% from the top and 20% from the bottom.
Okay. All right. Really interesting. Um, um, I'd like to take a few minutes and talk about how you fill these roles because in from what I've seen in the industry, you have specialist analysts, that are performing simulations all day, every day, and then you have engineers that are making design decisions, and then you have in some cases you have people that are using CAD, and that's a third separate role. So, can you talk a little bit about who runs the simulation, who acts as a mentor, um, and how they interact? I'd love to get your perspective on that.
Yeah, sure, definitely. And since I worked in more than three different OEMs and two different tier one, tier two supplier company, so work stack is almost similar in all the industries, right? So you have a designer group, they all tied up with the programs, right? What changes they want to make and what is coming on, or what is their goals. They have the limited space in terms of mass, the space as well as the cost. They are up to it. That their task. They have to read the like. They have to achieve the functions
Hmm.
and within this spec. On the other hand, you have your simulation engineer, the CAE engineer, or yeah. So what they do, their task is to take the input, take the model, take the boundary. They call it as a boundary condition or the
Sure.
inputs, right? And it has to, and what is the output? That the product or the part they need to serve certain purpose, right? So they have some goals, and there is a separate team who puts the requirements and the target. So those teams are they foresee the market. They understand what the market is going, what the customers are liking, how
Yeah.
is it, what is this product is serving, is it Gen Z or what kind of customer, listen for the signals, and they convert that high level signals into technical requirements.
Yeah.
So once you have a technical requirements, you have a target for the product and at the parts, and your simulation engineer now they know what input is coming from the CAD or the designer, and they know what is the output they want from the requirements team. Now their task is to massage this product, right? Put whatever changes you need to make within the space. They will closely work with the designer, by the way. And this happens based upon the company to company. Either it's daily, weekly, depends upon the simulation. There are variable factors to it. And as a team, they come up with a product which serves and balances between your cost, time, effort, technology, and the target.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. So there's responsibilities for all of those different roles.
Yes.
It sounds
Yeah,
like.
it's a collective win. And so that's where the new innovation comes in. Like, is it a brand new innovation? Then they go and do it and file patent for it as well. And so that's how this new innovation happens in the industry.
Excellent. Um, let's talk a little bit more about the simulation-driven design aspect of this. Using simulation to drive decisions. Um, I'd love to hear your perspective on the progression of the tools, the IT software that's used there, and how it's changed from maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago to 5 years ago to now. Because obviously we're in a we're in a state where things are changing very quickly. So how has that changed in your eyes?
Yeah, there's a lot of story to it, right? So this the simulation actually started very early in defense industries
Mhm.
and the NASA space station, right? So those are the pioneer people who wants a cutting edge tool because they cannot do a prototype. You cannot launch a rocket in land, right? So you need some simulation tools which can reflects what the real product is are.
Yeah.
So and also the defense industries. Industries where they need more innovating cutting edge technology. So those are the people who are pioneered on this kind of a simulation tool earlier. Then it was passed industrial companies like the
Yeah.
automotive industries or other major HVAC or supplier industries, right? And they were partnering closely within their ecosystem. And most of this development happens, this tool building will happen within the company itself. So each OEM has their own tools, and the capability and the features of these tools was increasing exponentially,
Yeah.
and they cannot handle it anymore. So you have to build the product, you have to maintain the tool, and you have to. So much things are going on during that time. It's early 70s, 80s, and so that's the people come out from this company. They started working on this tool, and this tool itself become an industry
Hmm.
in late 90s and early 2000. This you can start seeing more and more software tool companies are popping in, and this is the in artistic curve. This is where the sudden boom is happening. Then after what happens during early or late 2000, all this company consolidated into a two or three big player.
Mm.
Less than 10 of the company they were playing. And now with AI and more data related thing, again there is a big disruption happen, and the industry got shuffled. And you can see those companies like the even Altair was acquired by Siemens, and
Sure.
other companies were cut by different companies. Like there is a shift happens the last couple of years ago. So again there is a big move, and now I would say like uh, less than 5 6 companies, the major companies kind of have all the tool sets within their uh, tool list.
I see. Yeah. Yeah. That is something it's been so interesting that you rarely see in an analyst department, one stack from one software provider. They tend to have almost all of them because they're
Yeah.
really good in different highly specialized or niche spaces. Do you think that's going to continue, or do you think there'll be some consolidation?
No, I think that's going to continue because hiring a client is more challenging than building a tool in this era.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so once you have a client, you don't want to lose the client, right? So you want to serve whatever way you want to for the client, right? Right from your CAE, CFT, 1D, data analytics, AI, so you name it, right? So they want to bring in more features. So if they want to bring in more feature to this tool set, they either develop in-house or they look for merger. So that's how they
Hmm.
go and buy small companies and put it in their umbrella
Sure.
of serving to the customer.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because it's a huge investment, and the OEMs or the big companies want to have one partner who can provide more service to their
Hmm. Yeah. Okay.
employer.
Yeah. Makes sense. Um, let's talk a little bit more about AI. Now, there are some that might say there are no AI models out there that understand stress, strain, fluid flow, uh, thermal dynamics, that type of thing. However, if you look at it, AI has gotten really good at writing code. It's dramatically accelerated the development of software applications. And if you look at FEA models underneath, especially when you go to solve, it's all code. So what role do you see AI playing on this front? What's the opportunity there? Which of those roles do you think would benefit most from AI kind of being integrated with simulation tools?
Yeah. So I'm seeing currently the AI is integrating in a two stack. On stack number one, it is trying to help you out to um, run your current tool set, whatever the tool you're using, in a more efficient way by
Mm,
eliminating manual works. For example, if you want to prepare your deck to put into your model, then this AI tool can help you out to prepare the deck
mm,
for the input case. And if you want to post process the results, this AI tool can go and uh, reads out the reports or write out the reports and highlights what are the changes you need to make based
mhm,
upon your requirements. That's on one level. Another level, because you talked about FEA, right? It's a governing equation, Navier-Stokes equation, if it is a fluid model, and these equations are written down by the basic first principle. And this AI tool now very much understands what are the governing equations are, and they can rewrite or help you to write the code much faster.
hmm,
That's on the software company side. And there is another industry which is evolving. It's purely based upon the data. You don't need any governing equation, but we know what is the material or the input is and what is the output is coming up, because it tests with the different scenarios
mhm.
and try to read the input and output and try to build an equation that mimics or replaces your governing equation.
Yeah,
You don't need a first principle. You just use your mathematical equation by implementing the data to come up with.
yeah.
I'm seeing that tool is also evolving a lot nowadays.
Okay, really.
And for most of
Interesting.
the A to B cases, whether your hood design is this, you want to improve a little bit or you want to reduce, what is the change in the CD? So this tool can easily give you that value.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right, good. Excellent. Let's shift gears. Let's talk about kind of advantages and benefits. I think the traditional kind of value prop around performing these kind of simulations is, you figure things out digitally or virtually, and that allows you to spend less money on prototypes, or at least the number of prototypes. Does that still hold, that value proposition? Are there other ones that have emerged that are compelling, especially in the age of AI? Would love to get your perspective on that.
Yes, definitely. Because number one, you are eliminating the real prototype building, because getting material and doing testing is really expensive.
Mm,
Even some of the material we are talking about is it's not readily available. You have to either ship it from different part of the country, and there is a risk associated with this. And also, you have to build a bigger facility to test it.
yeah.
And there is not 100% guarantee that this product will work. So again, you have to go back and redesign. So think about this cost. And of course, there is an upfront cost to set up your simulation team or simulation tool set. Uh, but one nice thing is happening, because a lot of companies are already have those tool sets, and they are actually those suppliers, the tool suppliers, are taking a proactive approach, and they try to solve what is the problem the OEMs are facing or the
Yeah.
customer is going to face. They try to predict the problems, and they try to solve it with their tool set, and they give you the a demo. Okay, so this tool will achieve this. So you have more confidence now. The risk taking percentage is less
Hmm.
going toward the simulation tool nowadays.
Yeah.
That brings you a more confident. And of course, on the return on investment, it's tied up with your volume. If you make enough volume of your product, then this break even will happen much sooner. But if you're launching a product and it's not meeting your volume, of course, you'll end up, a higher capex investment for now. But this tool is going to repurpose, right? So it's a simulation tool. You can use it for different model year. It's not like plant. You build it and it's not usable anymore. It's you can just recompute it.
Yeah.
By the way, you have to be cautious about what is the compute cost, because that is keep climbing up as we
Sure.
speak, because of the resource constraint in the chip, and data center is used by a lot of AI models, and the cooling capacity and the grid capacity. So those are the challenging as well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head. Um, Looking at this from a different angle, are you seeing today that a lot of these change initiatives related to simulation, are they more coming from the executive, or are they more grassroots, kind of coming up from the bottom? I'd love to get your perspective there.
Yeah. So from my experience, the leaders are nothing but the same engineer who worked in the company for the last 20 years. They are the raised in the top layer, right? So
Yeah.
they pretty much know what is the frustrations, what are the issues or pain points the engineer faces. So they are very much supportive to any changes that simplifies your work
Mm. Mhm.
and makes your life easier, right?
Okay.
And of course, these sets are uh, designed to help you out,
Mhm.
right? In terms of avoiding the repetitive work, avoiding the mistakes, and you don't need to spend too much time upfront, right? So just spend your quality time on innovation. The innovation happens by brainstorming and interacting with people and acknowledging and recognition changes from other people. So it's more like emotional and cultural changes.
Yeah.
And more your team involves in it, more innovation comes in. And the people or time you spend more and more on computer building a model, it's not going to bring much value to the business or the innovation.
Yeah.
But rather than you can use your AI tool to do your mundane task and put your team on more challenging and more innovative
Yeah.
ideas.
Yeah. Good. Good.
Leaders are watch for it, and they're encouraging teams, and they are setting up uh, avenues where you can go learn if you want,
Mhm.
and go and get trained, external or internal, and even showing avenues where you can showcase your skills. You can do a presentation, you can motivate others, or you can do a internal competition or external competition, right? So those
Mhm.
are the things I'm seeing leaders are trying to do in their organization, which is very welcome, I would say.
Yeah, that's great. Excellent. Can you talk a little bit about, um, if there's someone out there listening or watching this episode, that is a change agent, and they're looking at a current initiative, what are some signs that the initiative is a good fit for the organization? Like, what are some clues, some green flags, that say, yeah, this is a great fit?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, to all the listeners, right? So, the industry or any organization, they have problems in all the aspects of their business,
Yeah.
right? When I say problems, it's there is a pain point is there
Mhm.
exist, and the innovation or the service you're going to bring in, it can help in so many ways. For example, if you are really good in data crunching and you are really good in that, and you find yourself really going with along with this, try to develop a capability, or try to build a deep knowledge on one particular area
Yeah.
which you are really interested in. Once you build a competency in this, and your competency is almost par with the current capability of any other organization is
Mhm.
facing. So because you know the informations are available in an open system, right? You can take those challenges and learn it, prove it, and document it, build a portfolio, and then you use that as a tool to come to a team and say that I'm going to join your team and I'm going to solve this problem.
Yeah.
So understand the problem the team is facing, and you need to say that, okay, I'm going to come and trying to solve this problem because I have done this. This is my portfolio. and have this tool knowledge, and I will help you out. So this is what the companies are looking right now, because they don't have time to hire you and train you and make you specialist and then get the result out of it, right? So it's
Yeah.
too long for now because the tools and the skills are available readily in the market. So why can't you take a lead on it? And it could be anything like
Yeah.
data,
Yeah.
AI, CAE, or anything you can take which you're fond of, build a deep knowledge on it and build a portfolio, and try to anticipate what uh, pain points or the problem the team or the manager is facing.
Yeah.
Have a discussion, coffee chat with them. There's a LinkedIn, you can reach out to the people and try to understand the pain points and bring your solution. It not maybe a perfect one, but you tried for it. That gives you
Yeah. Yeah.
good
Okay.
signals to the manager.
That's good. What about what are some clear signs that an initiative is a bad fit? And I know this is a really tough question to ask, especially for people that are used to overcoming resistance and overcoming all the obstacles and challenges that typically come with an initiative, but sometimes they are not a good fit for organizations. So I'd love to get your perspective. What are some red flags like that? No go, like stop.
Yeah. There are a few things probably we should avoid altogether in order to make a good product. For example, you have some lead time. Okay, you have cycles of your product releases,
Mhm.
and you have some gaps, and you don't know what is the external climate is.
Yeah.
That could be in terms of political thing. It could be in terms of natural calamities. You don't know. You cannot predict what is going to happen. So what happens during that time that the team not sure what to do, so that time they work on a product or a feature, then it's end up in shelved, like it's
Mm,
end up going nowhere, right? And the people who worked on those initiatives kind of get frustrated because it's not being taken um, along with that, right? So those are the frustration things happens in
mm,
the team because they get burned out. And actually the we can take a different approach, right? So instead of just shelving those products, the team can coin it as an innovation and try to see what we can strip out from this, like
yeah.
what patents we can file it for it, or what recognition we can give it for that, or how you can use this as a stepping stone to bring build a next product. So those are the things. So just not by simply shelving it, that kind of gives a burn down effect, but
Hmm. Yeah.
using some of the things will really
Yeah.
help.
Good advice. Good guidance. All right. Last question. If you could redesign anything in the world, could be the better mousetrap, could be anything else, what would it be?
Yeah, definitely. In this era, if I want to redesign anything, that's a good question. Let me take a pause to think about that.
All right. Excellent.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, why not? Okay. What is happening? We are in a curve where the population is rising, and especially younger generations are are the percentage of the younger generation is acceleratingly rising,
Yeah.
and there is no enough job available in the market across the globe.
Yeah.
This problem is happening developing countries all across the globe. So for 100 people, there's only 40% of the job is there. So remaining 60, how they going to survive?
Sure.
So one thing what I want to pass on to the generations, or watch for it is, so don't just don't just believe that the company will take care of you, or you graduate from the college, then your career is done, or you'll get a good job and you'll rely on that. Don't do that. Try to specialize one skill which your passion, and you really have a drive to it, and build a career on that. And the job is one part of your career.
Yeah.
It's not just everything, right? So
Yeah.
you become your advocate for that service, for that, whatever the way, whatever the things what you're interested to do it, right?
Yeah.
So it could be, yeah, so build a career on yourself.
That's great. Great advice. Really appreciate that. Vijay Sanakal, thanks so much for joining today. Really appreciate your time and appreciate your wisdom.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here for the great opportunity to talk to you about my career and interesting questions as well. Thank you for having me here.
This is Chad again. Thanks for listening to the show. In these episodes, lots of discussion online, and maybe even your company. Hopefully you're hearing the same thing that we're hearing. The biggest challenge to engineering transformation isn't technology focused. It's actually people-centered. As part of the Founders Council, we're developing research, training, organizational assessments, and insights to upskill and enable change agents. That sounds like where you need to be. Come book a meeting with me at lifecycleinsights.com. Take care and talk soon.